Welcome again to Cottage Talk. I am Russ Goldman. This is my silly season update. It is that time of the summer when the silly season has begun and we're going to get all this speculation. It's not just about the transfer window, it's just all of these rumors that could involve the manager, could involve players. And we get this once the season ends and the next season is going to begin in a few months. We get the silly season. So, possibly once or twice a week, I'll be doing these updates, and the video will be done live, but the audio, the podcast version, will be exclusive on the Cottage Talk Patreon page for Patreon members. So, if you're interested in learning more about the Cottage Talk Patreon page, please do check it out. Like I said, I will be posting several podcasts about the silly season exclusively there. The video will be live and you can watch a replay, but if you want to listen exclusively to the podcast version, check out the Patreon page. Okay. So we do have some decent amount of speculation, but I'm only going to concentrate on a few, and I'll also talk about Marco as well. This will only go about 10 to 15 minutes. So it's literally just an update. And these are two pieces of speculation that happened over the weekend. So you might already know about them, but I'm just going to share my thoughts on them and what they could mean, or maybe in some cases don't mean anything. So let's start with the first piece of speculation, and it involves Rodrgo Muniz. And Rodrigo Muniz is coming back from an injury and hopefully will be ready to go for Fulham's next season. In case anyone is aware, he is actually about to enter the final year of his contract, but there is an option, a team option for another year. So technically it's 2 years because Fulham, if they want to, can exercise that extra year. So it's not just a 1 year contract. People get that a little bit misconstrued. They see an opportunity as always in his final year. Yes and no, because I will say one thing about Tony Khan and his contracts is that they tend to add this club option, which I think is valuable to get the club protected. So I do like that they do that for the club. I'm talking about in these contracts. Many of the contracts, they have this option year, and this is one of them. So in the case of Rodrgo Muniz, what got me interested in it was, one, I don't think he's going to leave, but I saw the speculation that actually started in The Athletic in regards to Leeds United that they've made inquiries about Rodrgo Muniz. My first thought is, why wouldn't they? Of course you would. They're coming back, been promoted, coming back to the Premier League. So you're going to look for a striker that could potentially help you. But this to me is not going to happen. And I went back and forth with a couple of Leeds United supporters that were telling me how big of a club Leeds United, why wouldn't he want to go there, and such and such. Well, first of all, a couple things on that. I will give them that they are this big club historically. We know the history over the past 20, 25 years. It's not what they want. But if you look at it over 50, 60 years, yes, they're a big club. Great, fantastic, big club. But they've gone through some turmoil over the past 20 years. They've rebounded well. Now they're back in the Premier League. And it's funny because I saw one comment calling Fulham a former yo-yo club. And who knows, maybe Leeds United will become the next yo-yo club. But the reason why I basically said they have no chance is that I don't think Fulham are going to sell him to anyone. And I think that they will not even hold out for a big amount of money. I've seen 50 million pounds thrown around, and I don't even think I would do it at that point because you have a player that is on the rise, that keeps on improving, and in my opinion, could be that striker that you want for years to come. So if you have that player, why are you going to sell him? They don't have to sell him at all. They don't. In fact, I think he is a piece of the puzzle moving forward. Now, this Leeds United supporter also said, well, wouldn't he like the opportunity to be the main striker? And I'm going to say this right now. He'll have that opportunity at Fulham. to be the main striker. I do expect Fulham to bring in another striker, and we have Raul Jimenez, but that situation I think has worked out really well. And for me, I cannot imagine Rodrgo Muniz leaving Fulham, wanting to leave Fulham, and I'm sure he remembers his situation when he was at Middlesbrough. It didn't go over that well for him. It didn't work. I know that was several years ago. But for me, this is a completely non-starter speculation. I believe that they're interested, but I don't think it goes any further because Fulham are not going to sell Rodrgo Muniz to him or to anyone. I believe that anything is possible, but I just don't see that. I give this maybe 0.5% of having any kind of legs, meaning that Fulham would even consider it. I don't think that they would consider it because he's part of their plans for the future, part of Marco Silva's plans. So we're going to see a lot of speculation about players. This is one of them. It happened last season as well. Of course, because he scored goals, teams are going to be interested in bringing him in. I get all that. I don't see, the club selling him, and I don't think Rodrgo Muniz is going to want to go to Leeds United. In full respect to the Leeds United supporters who call them a much bigger club than Fulham, whatever. I think he's pretty happy at Fulham based on what I've read and what I've seen from Rodrgo Muniz. He's part of Fulham Football Club. He's going nowhere. So we can just squash that. But if people want to continue to write about it, feel free to. If you want to question me on it, what I know, question me. This is my opinion. Rodrgo Muniz will stay at Fulham. That's one piece of speculation that happened over the last couple of days. Here's another one that I think Fulham supporters will be interested in. This is according to Team Talk. Team Talk is reporting that Fulham and Manchester United are interested in Joao Palhinha. Shocker. Just complete shocker. You mean the move to Bayern Munich really didn't work out for Joao Palhinha? I didn't see that one coming. Yes, I saw that one coming because I just didn't think that he would fit into that club. They were going into a different direction with a different manager, and I didn't see him fitting into his plans for Bayern Munich, and that kind of played itself out. So Joao might want to stay at Bayern Munich because I've read that this was his dream move. He wanted to go there, and I'm glad he got his dream move. But it certainly hasn't worked out for him. He's played sparingly for Bayern Munich. He did get injured, and he just does not suit the way that company wants to play. So if he stays another season, it's going to be more of the same for Joao Palhinha. So if I'm him, I would hope that he would consider a move back to Fulham. I could see why Fulham would be interested in bringing him back, and then that opens up the can of worms. Well, if they bring him back, who goes? Well, let's cross that bridge when we come to it, because if he did come back, they would, I think, have to make a move to move someone out in that position. But we're not there yet. Let's see if this has legs. I think it potentially has legs. The report has £25 million for Palhinha. Listen, I think Fulham could really negotiate with Bayern Munich, considering they've already made the deal with him to send him there to make this move happen. So if I'm them, I'm all in to bring Palhinha back. I'm not going to lie, I was upset about him moving. And sometimes I don't want players to come back. But I do believe, and I've always said this, one, I reserve the right to change my mind. Two, I like second chances. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Ryan Sessegnon, it worked out. Clint Dempsey came back, second chance. It didn't work out, but I've learned since then by listening to the Fulham Fix that I think a lot of it had nothing to do with Clint. In fact, really had nothing to do with Clint. He had the best intentions of coming back to Fulham, but the manager was an issue of why it didn't work when he came back to Fulham. So just keep that in mind. So sometimes second chances do work. And I hope it would if they bring back Palhinha. I think I said this during the season that I didn't feel they missed him a great deal. But if I'm reflecting back and talking to Tony Gold, my podcast co-host, he brought this up because of Palhinha. Fulham needed two players to take the place of Palhinha. So that affected Fulham going forward. It really did. So if you bring back Palhinha, maybe you can change that mix a little bit and get more offensive. You needed two defensive midfielders to take the place of one defensive midfielder. So bringing him back, I think could completely change the dynamic of Fulham once again in a positive manner. I'd be all for this. And if I'm Palhinha and my choice is between Manchester United and Fulham, go with what you know. And you know Fulham Football Club. I know the situation with Manchester United with that manager. You might be considering that, but you also have a Portuguese manager here who believes in you. So if I'm Joao, I consider coming back. This is something for us to follow. I don't think this is the end of it. I actually think this is the beginning of the speculation with Joao Palhinha and Fulham Football Club. Can we get a return back to Craven Cottage? I would love that. And that's my second piece of speculation. To end this quick episode, I want to talk about the continued speculation with Marco Silva. So this really came to a head over the weekend, and I was inundated with people contacting me. What did I know? And I didn't know anything about this latest report, so I checked it out. And I first saw it on Sports Witness, which was a report from the Record in Portugal, basically saying that agreement was close with Marco Silva and Tottenham Hotspur. And I'm thinking, whoa, what's going on here? It's coming out of Portugal. Maybe they know something, but this is speculation. At the same time, there was speculation in England linking Thomas Frank to the Tottenham Hotspur job. And lo and behold, it now looks like that Thomas Frank is more than likely going to become the Tottenham Hotspur manager. And I think that's the right thing for Tottenham. I don't think it's the right thing for Brentford, but I don't care about them. In regards to Fulham and Marco Silva, I think Marco Silva, as Tony Gold has said to me many times, is not ready for that type of job yet. And I would tend to agree with him. I think he has more to do at Fulham Football Club before he takes a job like that. He needs things to show. He needs to show people of a potential next team that his teams won't fade in the second half of the season, that they can keep more clean sheets, that they can adapt throughout the season. So I agree with Tony on that. I think Marco Silva is a fantastic manager. I want him to be at Fulham for as long as they can hold on to him because I think he has transformed the team. He makes players better. I don't want him to leave. But even good managers can improve the job that they do. And I think Marco needs to look at his job, evaluate not just the players, but himself and what he needs to improve. That's how you get better. And I think there is room for improvement with Marco, and I hope we see that in years to come. But this move to Tottenham, I never understood because I just didn't think it was the right fit for Marco or the right fit for Tottenham. It just didn't make sense to me because I don't think he's at that progression yet. But I understand why teams would be interested in him because on paper, he makes players better. Fulham is a comfortably mid-table team. It pains me to say that. So there is room for improvement because I think they're going to be better, but that's the whole thing. I don't think he is ready yet for this type of move. I'll just end by saying that. And I think he's in the right place. He's at Fulham Football Club, and I think the Cons will back him this summer to give him the team that he needs. And we'll go into more talk about that the entire summer on Cottage Talk, and I look forward to it because I'm excited about what Marco Silva can do with next season's team. And I expect him to be the full manager. We talked about that on the last episode. I don't see him going anywhere. And that's what I'm going to end with this. The speculation will continue, maybe with other jobs. I expect Marco Silva to be the full manager. And that's that. Okay. Before I go, just want to mention one final thing, that we have a special episode of Cottage Talk recording Tuesday night at 9 p.m. in England. The Fulham Legends return. That is Gordon Davis and Rob Wilson joining me and Emilio Danello for a very special episode. I look forward to bringing that to you. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. My name's Russ Goldman. Thank you, as always, for watching and listening to Cottage Talk.